Hello, welcome to the first episode of Real News Experience. I am Chris Serrato and I am with.
Kevin Umana, and thank you for listening. This is going to be one of multiple installments of various other podcasts talking about the Champions League and other type of sports. This one today is the NBA podcast, our first one. Thank you for listening. We're live. So what's up? What's up, Chris? How you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. Playoff time is right around the corner and let's get this shit on the road, for sure.
So first of all, thank you for listening. This is our first NBA podcast. I want to give you a little background about myself. My name is Kevin, and I've been a Celtics fan since I ever started playing basketball back in elementary school. Probably like early 2000s when there was that great Lakers rivalry. And my friend Chris, we go back way back. He's a childhood friend of mine. We've always talked basketball, and he's a big Lakers fan, right? Um, so tell us about yourself, Chris.
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm a Lakers fan. The thing is like LeBron and Kobe always been one of my favorite players growing up, and it sucks Kobe is no longer in the NBA because I would have loved to see prime Kobe and prime LeBron on the same team. They probably would have defeated the shit out of these bitch ass Warriors. That's a different topic for another time. These fucking five All-Star Warriors, they're beatable. It's just Aaron got to put their fucking cojones on the fucking gas pedal and say we could beat these motherfuckers. Houston almost did it last year. I think if Chris Paul was a healthy hamstring away, they would have beat Golden State. They had a home court up 3-2. They could have beaten Golden State, but world may never know. It's only in the what if scenario category. But that's
and
a
and
different
and and,
topic.
and how do you feel about them picking up Boogie Cousins and shit like that? Like an already strong Warriors team, that's been coming out on top. Only really struggled against LeBron in the Cleveland. Uh, just went out and got such a player like Boogie Cousins. A man of his stature.
Well, the thing is, before Boogie Cousins ruptured his Achilles, he was arguably the best center in the league. Like him and Anthony Davis, they were clicking at all
Yeah, they were
cylinders.
running it. Word.
And like Rondo and Drew Holiday, the backcourt was just fun to watch. And they're arguably the best defensive backcourt in the NBA. But the shitty thing about it is with injuries, it's like when you're entering your free agency offseason year, it takes a toll on you financially because a lot of teams don't want to pay you the money. And he's worth a supermax contract. His player risk caliber, he's worth the money when he's healthy, 100%. And he only signed to Golden State for like what a mid-level exception, which is projected from a 5 to 8 million, depending on your team salary cap, whatever they could provide. But it's just crazy how the Warriors have five All Stars in their starting lineup, and right now they are only half a game above the Denver Nuggets.
That see that's where I pause you and I'm like, but the Denver Nuggets are right there. You know what I mean? Like with you talk about all these all stars, and the Denver Nuggets are right next to them. You know what I mean?
The thing with the Denver Nuggets is they have a way deeper bench, and they can play a flat 9, 10, 11 man rotation. That's how deep they are. And Golden State's bench is not really that good, but they have five All Stars. And you forgetting Andre Iguodala is a former All Star himself. He's a former Finals MVP, and whenever it's playoff time, he comes in, locks up, does his role, go home, repeat, does his role once again. Very underrated.
I mean, good thing you talked about playoff time. And I'm looking down. I just pulled up. You guys can't see, but I just pulled up the standings for the Western Conference, and you could see on sixth place, just barely making it, LA Clippers. How do you feel about that?
What the Clippers are doing this season should have been the Lakers. I mean, you can't say injuries are an excuse, but injuries you could say is part of an excuse too. But you can kind of blame the front office too. Well, if you've been watching LeBron for all these years, you know he's successful when you have shooters around him, and you know that he has the rings to prove it. And the thing is, Magic Johnson built a team that's not really constructed well to be around LeBron. And the thing is with Magic Johnson is he kind of banked on trying to get these free agents like Paul George. He didn't get Paul George. And
Kawhi.
Kawhi. So he felt like he had to go all chips in with Anthony Davis, and he still got a lot of criticism regardless. And Luke Walton, in my opinion, is not really a good coach. I feel like he would do better in a smaller market, like a Charlotte Hornets or something like that. But I don't think he's ready to coach a team to be like in a championship. I don't think he's quite there. He's 34 years old. He was never a really great NBA player to begin with. It's like if there was like a Jason Kidd, people would actually listen to him. You know what I'm saying? And because he's a gold medalist, he's an NBA champion. He's one of the best players we ever seen too as well. Very underrated too. And since me and Kevin are from New Jersey, um, he led the Nets to a back-to-back finals
Yeah.
once against the Lakers and the Spurs. Obviously, they both got their ass kicked, but shows you how good of a player Jason Kidd is, how smart he is, and another type Jason Kidd type of player is Lonzo Ball. He has so much potential, but he can even be better than Jason Kidd, in my opinion.
Some people say it was down to his father, with the pressure he brought on, that big baller brand persona that he put on him and all that shit. Like, some people say that that's the reason why your expectations of that player are way too high, and then that fucks him up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. So the thing is, well, his father opened his mouth saying, "Oh, he's better than Steph Curry," vocalizing a false narrative.
Clearly not, by the way.
For sure. Well, not yet. He has to prove himself along the way. He has a longer career.
Yeah, he's still young. Yeah.
But since this big baller brand scandal came out, I shouldn't say a scandal, but the the thing is like, how are you gonna put someone in charge of your financial or like the bank of your company, and that person went to jail for several years for fraud and money laundering? Doesn't matter if you're friends with that person. Yes, you did your time for it. Some people don't never learn, and it's a reoccurring pattern, and it shows right here. It's a reoccurring pattern, and that's the problem with it. LeVar Ball, yes, he is obviously a good father. Who isn't a good father to her kids? And I think the thing he fucked up was taking out LaMelo out of high school. I get he tried to get all this professional experience. He means all well with it, but you can't take a kid out of high school. Like, did Zion Williamson's family take him out of high school because I'll let him send his ass to Europe? No.
Yeah, and speaking about all these kids in college, the draft about to come up for them, and with the Clippers, and we were talking just before how the Clippers made it, and we were laughing because I'm a Celtics fan, and that means another pick. You know what I mean? And
I know it's crazy.
And it's crazy because now the Celtics could just say, "Fuck it, let's just trade up."
And they have 4 first-round picks this year in this draft alone.
Wild.
It's insane. Like, Danny Ainge is a smart general manager. Like, no doubt about it. Him and Masai Ujiri from Toronto, they're tier top up there. They are just geniuses left and right. They know how to get the best of the. I shouldn't say the best of the best. They know how to get their talents. And the thing with Boston, the situation is kind of a little hectic since the playoff is right around the corner. Is Kyrie really committed? Obviously, when it comes to game time, playoff time, he has experience. He has the pedigree. He is a winner. He's like, I shouldn't say a modern day Kobe Bryant, but he has the killer of a Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying?
And just so the people listening have some context over this and our opinions over Kyrie, like, we're from Jersey. Kyrie's from Jersey, and we up him, we back him, but we're very critical too. Like, you gotta give criticism when criticism is due. You know what I mean? And I've been a Celtics fan for as long as I can remember, and I could tell you that I've always thought of the team over the player, and those previous playoffs, you could see without Kyrie, everybody discounted us. and we made it pretty far. We even we beat top teams that everybody was like, oh, they're gonna make it to the final. You know what I mean? So
everybody had the Sixers and the Cavaliers last year in the conference finals, and actually the Sixers knocking off the Cavaliers.
Exactly.
Even 2K had all this crazy ass fucking projections about it too. It could have happened, but the thing is, it's like that's what I love about the NBA playoffs. It's unpredictable. It's mostly predictable, but like no one thought years ago. I remember what year was it? It was when the Dallas, I think it was 2007. Yeah, playoffs 2007. Mavericks had, I think, had the best record in the NBA. They had like over 60 wins, and they got swept by the 8th-seeded Golden State Warriors that had Baron Davis, Steven Jackson, and all those guys. Like no one expected the Warriors back then to beat this first place Dallas Mavericks team. These came back from a 2006 final, losing to D Wade, Shaquille O'Neal, all those guys, and they were up 2-0 against them. 2006, they choked away, lost 4 in a row, and that's how D Wade got NBA Finals MVP. And speaking of Dwayne Wade, this is his last dance, and it sucks. Like, and that's our childhood right there too.
And by the way, shout out to Chris Bosh going up in the rafters.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's huge.
Shout out. That's huge. That's our childhood as well.
That Miami three.
That Miami team.
They were fast, athletic.
It was crazy.
Those fast breaks, get the hell out of the way.
That whole decision, that whole saga, as a kid, that shit was wild. That was a big talking point in school. Trust me.
I'm not gonna lie with you. I did not like LeBron in Miami because I wanted him somewhere else. But you know, at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? He's still one of the best players of all time. And when he came back to Cleveland, it just felt right because we could all remember LeBron in the Cavaliers. It's like it was like just like a story meant to be. But you can always argue like Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cavaliers, never provided the right pieces around LeBron his first tenure there. But his second tenure, Gilbert caved in and he said, okay, LeBron, we'll do whatever you want. You're the commander of this army. He went out, got Kevin Love, which...
Shout out Kevin Love, by the way.
Kevin Love's Minnesota was unbelievable. He was a walking double-double. He still is a walking double-double. I feel like when he's healthy, he's a great, great player. But the thing is, like, his injuries... like
just sucks.
I know, he's kind of
all
like
of his injuries, I hated seeing them.
He's just type fragile. And it just sucks. But, you know, LeBron, at the end of the day, he's going to go down as top 2, arguably the GOAT. And we're never going to see a player like him ever again. We're never going to see a player like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James ever again. Or even possibly James Harden, too. James Harden
has been cooking up, by the way. He dropped 60 points over, I think, 2 weeks ago or a weekend ago. I forget. Yeah, we're filming this on March 28th, by the way. Forgot to mention that. But, yeah, today's a Thursday evening.
Speaking of James Harden, do you think he's the MVP or Giannis, the Greek freak?
Man, I don't know. This day and age, it's all about shooting.
Well, that too. But remember, the NBA looks at players with the best record and the best player. So it's probably going to be Giannis, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Dude, I'm telling you.
If you think James Harden. He had a crazy 30-point streak.
It's going to be James Harden, bro. Just, even though he's using that NBA cheat little move he does where he like actually travels, yeah. But yeah, that's another topic for another day.
But the question is, will he show up in the playoffs?
Which is questionable because he hasn't. He hasn't multiple times. And the Rockets got fucked out of a Chris Paul injury. So, I mean, you know what I mean? You would say that the Rockets would have probably went further in the playoffs, possibly winning there with a healthy Chris Paul. So, and big up by the way, Chris Paul. You know, big fan of that player right there.
Right, he's my favorite point guard of all time.
Exceptional professional. You know what I mean? He has his moments, but it's funny. You know what I mean? So
Chris Paul is awesome. I remember back in elementary school and middle school, and just watching him in a New Orleans uniform, I was just like, God damn, can you imagine him like in a Knicks uniform? Like him and Carmelo in a pick and roll, or or Stoudemire. It's like, holy shit. Like, that would not be fair. Like, GGG, bro. Like, good fucking game, bro. But, all right, so let's get down to the playoff standings and predictions with it.
All right, so we're gonna give you the teams that are in the playoffs from the Western Conference. So, Chris, can you
Sure.
just read off?
As of right now, Golden State would be the first seed versus the AC San Antonio Spurs. But keep in mind, the fifth seed all the way down to the eighth seed, they're all like half a games apart. So anything could subject to change at a momentary time.
Keep in mind this is March 28th, Thursday evening.
So as of right now, Golden State will probably versus San Antonio, and let's be real, Greg Popovich, one of the greatest coaches of all time, arguably the best coach of all time.
Yeah.
But just not enough to beat this Golden State team. I'm just going to give a friendly sweep of 4-1 Golden State first round. And then I will go with the Denver Nuggets, the second seed versus the seventh seed. Oklahoma's been a little shaky this year.
Yeah, they've been flip-floppers.
This whole month, I think after the All-Star break, it's just they've been a whole different team of like...
And it's not only just a whole different team, it's if Paul George shows up, because you've seen it. You've seen it that I'm a big fan of Russ Westbrook, but let me tell you, when he doesn't show up, he does not show up. It's just those type of players. Like, you got to think about it. You look at a player like LeBron, when he don't show up, at least he do something. You know what I mean? You just got to give credit to that. At least do something. You know what I mean? You're not doing anything, bro. Granted, though, on his game, arguably one of the best players. You know what I mean? But you got to give criticism when criticism is due. So, but credit to Paul George, though. After that move, he's starting to make it work. Just the problem is consistency. You could say that it's the whole team. It is the whole team, honestly.
Well, the coach got to be held accountable too, as well.
Yeah, but that's just all I have to say on that.
And then I'm gonna go with who would win. Obviously, I'm gonna say Denver in 6, maybe.
Yeah,
Denver's so good at home
Isaiah is in there, so.
But doesn't matter. He's out of the rotation right now.
Yeah, but in playoff time, I'm telling you, bro.
If they need someone, I mean, it's kind of a tricky situation with him. I'm going to go with Denver in 6 games. And then the third seed versus the 6th seed, LA Clippers. Well, the thing is, Utah and LA, they both tie for the 5th seed, but it's all about a tiebreak right now. So I think they have another game against each other, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on it. That's what it seems like. And Portland just lost their starting center, Nurkic, who helps them at a tremendous level.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt them defensively. And, like, he's their best rebounder, their best shot blocker, and their third scorer on the team after CJ McCollum, their leading scorer. Damian Lillard, one of the best point guards in the league as we speak right now.
And rapper.
Oh, yeah, for sure, rapper.
Shout out Damian Lillard.
Dame Dollar. But I don't know, with this Nurkic situation, it just hurts them now. And I don't see him being the Clippers. If that was the case, the playoffs started today. I just don't see it, because Cantor, obviously, he's monster double-double, but he just defensively just lacks it, He tries, but he just lacks it, But I would go with the Clippers. Could go to a 7 games, maybe. It's possible.
Yeah.
Because they have the best bench. They have Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams off the bench. They both average fucking 20 points. Ridiculous.
It's funny how that's like the closest one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That's like the closest one. The other ones are possibly easy, like, sweeps. No offense, respect to the teams.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're just saying it how it is. Well, how it's looking right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And keep in mind, it's the 28th. It's Thursday. You know what I mean?
It's subject to change.
So if you were listening to this way later and you guys are like, "Fuck you guys are retarded." You know what I mean? So.
And then with the Houston Rockets, with the 4th seed and the projected 5th seeded Utah Jazz, I think I have Houston winning it, but I would just say maybe 6 games this time. I don't know. Something tells me like
that one off game.
Yeah, it's because like they don't have that starting small forward like a Trevor Reeves or Carmelo. Speaking of that, they did Carmelo so dirty, but that's a different story for another time. But I just felt like Eric Gordon, he's a great player to have off the bench, but they're starting him at the three. He's a little undersized, and he's a guard playing at the three. It's a little undersized for his position, you know. But he's
and
a good knockdown
and
shooter.
you guys gotta remember one thing, Chris. So he's born here in New Jersey. He's been to the New York matches, so he can critique the Knicks and the Nets. You know what I mean? So when he's talking about like the Knicks and the Nets, it's because he's seen the games over there and how they play. So he's very qualified for that opinion on both of those teams.
Yeah, and I've been to a lot of Sixers games too as well. It's only hour and a half drive out west of I don't know what interstate. I don't know. All I know is I follow
It's
GPS.
big up the Sixer stadium. It's like literally in the middle of nowhere to us anyway. A stadium needs to be like in the middle of a city or some shit because we got the MetLife. It's like all city and all that shit. But big up the Philly Stadium is actually really nice inside of it. The fans they back their team
Oh
one
yeah, for
hundred
sure.
percent.
They will
Like
heckle you if you're in the other team. They see you with that jersey, they will heckle the shit out of you. They're like Boston fans. I'll give you guys props with that. But they could go farther. So that's arguably the best starting five after Golden State.
yeah, and we'll get to the Eastern Conference in a bit. Um, any last words on Western Conference?
Well, I just have for me the conference final. My prediction would be Golden State Nuggets for me in conference finals.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh shit.
because the thing with Denver is like they're so good at home, and not a lot of teams could beat them at home. You know what I'm saying? They're so good at home, but away they're like lackluster.
Yeah.
They could kill them. But I still have Golden State coming out of the West. Um, for sure. I think for me, no one's gonna beat this Golden State team.
Yeah.
No one's gonna beat them. I hate to say it, just Houston maybe has a chance, but to be realistic, no one's gonna beat this fucking Golden State team unless it's a team from the East like Toronto, maybe. That fucking Marcus off the bench.
They choke though.
Yeah, the Kyle
Biggest
Lowry.
chokers.
Yeah, but you have Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, but they choke, bro. I
Hey,
mean,
they do choke.
it's like a team that has a history of choking
Repeats itself.
and we'll get into that in our Premier League preview and all that shit. And for soccer, if you guys, well, football, but soccer in the U.S., if you guys are interested, it's another podcast. But so that's it for the Western Conference. I'm gonna pull up the Eastern Conference. And you just look at the bottom and you see the New York Knicks, but
Their tank for Zion is real. It's in full effect, boys. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. It is in full effect. The tank for Zion Williamson.
So Chapo, by the way, Chris's nickname is Chapo because
Yes.
Chris is Mexican, so it's just fitting to
Yeah.
just call him Chapo.
Yeah, if it's the setting. Perfect.
Yeah, but all right, Chris, can you give us the standings right now?
Well, right now, Milwaukee has the best record in the NBA. Why means that the best record in the whole NBA means they clinch home court advantage throughout the entire playoffs. And behind them is Toronto with 4 games. Third is Philadelphia, and the fourth seed is Indiana. Fifth is Boston. Six, the Nets. Seven is the Detroit Pistons. Eight is tied with Miami and Orlando and the Miami Heat. But it's literally like half a game apart, which is crazy because it is D Wade's last year, one last stands. We'll all like to see Dwayne Wade in the playoffs for like one last couple games, maybe. It all depends on different games and scenarios with other different teams too, how it all pans out. But I feel like Dwayne Wade could play another year or two, but he's going on his own terms. You know, there's a saying with Frank Sinatra, because I did it my way, and D Wade is doing it his way, and we'll have to applaud him and respect him for that.
Shout out D Wade, by the way. As we were talking before, Chris Bosh, that that Miami Heat team we looked up to when we were younger. It was the team we picked in NBA. Trust me, on 2K. So
I feel like that was a team. Ray Allen hit that corner three, where Chris Bosh got that rebound.
Yeah.
And gave it to Ray Allen. He like Geronimo. Shot that shit. It was just one of the.
Just
I think
drained that
honestly,
shit.
you could argue it's one of the clutchest shots in finals history. You have Ray Allen's three, Michael Jordan's crossover, his final game ever in the NBA. Well, as a Bull, I'm sorry, and you could say one of the clutchest plays was LeBron's block on Andre Iguodala too, as well. It was pretty clutch too, because God knows what would have happened if Andre Iguodala scored that go-ahead layup. Because if LeBron blocked that layup, right, we actually squatted the backboard, and that's led to a Cavaliers timeout.
Sorry to the headphone users.
And it led to Kyrie's go-ahead three over Steph Curry, which was the unanimous MVP that season. He was just lights out that whole fucking season.
Yo. And all right, so you have in second place the Toronto Raptors.
They have Kawhi.
They have Kawhi.
Their team is insane.
And Kawhi has said that he's gonna stay. By the way,
I don't know.
After asked multiple times, even by his teammates.
I mean, Kyrie even said that I'll resign if you guys allow me, but a few months later, reporters kept asking him, "So what is your decision?" Ask me July 1st. So basically, I mean, Kawhi's in a better situation obviously than Kyrie because Toronto's team is really really good too. I mean, there's Kyle Lowry. You know, when he actually performs, he's actually really good. I think he at one point led the league in assisting in the beginning of the season. And he got hurt. He had to work his way back up. But Kyle Lowry in the playoffs tends to disappear and all. But I feel like with Kawhi, Danny Green, Siakam, who's a leading candidate for most improved player of the year, Siakam really came out this year.
Out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. And they have Serge Ibaka at the 5, but they could always interchange it with Marc Gasol too. Marc Gasol's former defensive player of the year. He's just a great, great player to have on your team. He's especially on a contender like that. You have Jeremy Lin coming off the bench too. You have Fred VanVleet, really, really good point guard too, backup point guard too. Toronto has a really deep team. Oh, Ojinobi too is good as well.
A very experienced. You know, like a lot of these players have gone to playoffs. You know what I mean? So they obviously know how to manage after their mishaps. You know, in previous playoffs and shit. How do you think they're gonna fare this year?
I mean, I think it's gonna be a bar fight coming out of the Eastern Conference. You have Milwaukee, Toronto, 76ers, and the Celtics. I think that's gonna be the Final Four, and that's gonna be a bar fight coming out. I think if those scenario does come out as we think or wish it will happen, I think all those two series of each, I think it's all gonna go to Game 7. It's just too close, too close to call it in. But for me, I have a bet on the Celtics come out of the East with $20. So I want the Celtics come out of the East, so I get my $20. You know what I'm saying?
Celtics will come out of the East. I back that 100%.
Well, they have arguably the best talent. Oh, you see, I feel like if they had a better record, everyone will be talking about, oh, yeah, the Celtics, you know. But since they're, been, inconsistent all year, everyone's been on their arses, you know. You know, projectedly, Kyrie has 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door with all this New York Knicks rumors where Kevin Durant, too, was joining him. And then I think, honestly, I think it all depends. If the Knicks don't get the first pick or the second pick minimum, both of those players are not joining. Or they could use, let's say they get the 3rd or 4th pick. Let's say anything top 3, right? They could use that pick to trade for Anthony Davis. I say fuck it, roll the dice on it.
Anthony Davis, by the way, in my opinion, is one of those players that
he's only 24, 25.
And he could play multiple positions. You know what I mean?
He could guard multiple positions too.
Exactly. So one of those versatile players like that are on top of their game.
You need to have on your team.
You need to have on your team, exactly. It could be a smart move, but that's rolling
the dice again.
That's our trade talk that we're gonna be talking about
later on in the show.
Later on in the show, yeah.
So I would say, let's get back to business. So as of right now, it would be the Magic and the Bucks in the first round. I would say easy sweep, you know, for the Bucks, you know.
With respect to the Magic.
But I would rather have D Wade in there, but no disrespect. Good weather over there in the state of Florida. Shout out beautiful women over there. But I would go with the second seed with the Toronto Raptors and the Detroit Pistons. Well, actually, the Pistons swept the Toronto Raptors. They're 3-0 against them this year. Yeah, believe it or not. But when it comes to playoff time, I go with the Raptors going over. I think 4-1 maybe.
I'll go with the Pistons. Same score.
Really, you think the Pistons can upset the Raptors?
You never know, man. Just how you said, the playoffs way different.
Well, you have the Pistons coming out over the Raptors. That's a bold prediction, my friend.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's a bold prediction. What do you guys think in the comment section below? What do you think? So we have the Philadelphia 76ers. I've been to several games this year. Great atmosphere. I like going to those games. Very entertaining. I try to get those free T-shirts, you know. You have great cheesesteaks over there. Shout out to Philly.
Yeah. Which one is the? All right. Let's do a little.
Pats. Pats is pretty good.
Pats, right?
Pats
that's the one. That's the better one, right?
For sure. Yeah.
You get the real. You get like that yellow.
Oh yeah.
The yellow melted cheese. You lot from Philly know exactly what I'm talking about. That like yellow melted cheese on top of the real steak.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful stuff, man.
Even though they say that shit's tainted and natural cheese don't look like that, but I don't give a fuck. That shit tastes good as hell. It was way better than their competition, bro.
And they're right across from each other.
Yeah, and by the way, we went to go see a 76ers versus Lakers, and then we went to go eat, and we ate half of one and half of another one, and I'll tell you what, I wish I ate two of Pat's.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but that's just a side note.
So I would go. Nets been coming up unexpected this year.
D'Angelo Russell, bro.
Oh, he's phenomenal. The Lakers fucked up, trading his ass away. And we'll talk about the Lakers management in another time, but let's talk about the playoffs right now. But I go with the Sixers in 7. I just feel like the Nets, they play so hard, they're not going to go down with a fight. I think I will go with the Sixers in 7 on this one.
That's a bold prediction. It's playoff time, bro.
Yeah, but like the Sixers have the star power.
We'll see. I'm split on this because the Nets at times when I see them play, they play like a top team, like a fucking like up there, like a first seed, second seed type team. But other times they look like the Knicks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a reoccurring problem with New York teams in general. We tend to learn that, Yankees over the years, the Giants over the years. It's always a reoccurring problem with all these New York teams. They tend to be inconsistent, or even trade away their best players, like Porzingis and Odell Beckham. But that's a different story. But now the 4 and 5 Pacers and Celtics. Well, in this case, they're only a game apart of each. Indiana has the upper hand because of record wise, but I would still have Boston in 6 coming out against the Pacers. Pacers, they play hard. They have a good defensive coach named McMillan. No one expected him to still be in the playoff race because they lost Oladipo. It was around January, right? And that's arguably their best player. And Oladipo's super underrated as hell.
Underrated, very hard worker. If y'all don't know how hard of a worker this man is, I think there's like a documentary of him I watched, or like some shit on Facebook I saw, and very very hard worker. That's all I could say about that guy.
Oh, he's nothing but hard work. I hope nothing wishing a speedy recovery to Oladipo. The NBA is better with you in it, and good luck to you in your recovery. Nothing but a speedy recovery. But I will still go with the Celtics in 6. They just have too much more talent, and plus, like, I would trust Kyrie with my life. Game on the line, a last minute and a half to hit a clutch shot. Right? Would you trust Kyrie with that?
All the time. He's done it with the Cavaliers. So
still done with some games with the Celtics too.
Duke.
Well, he only played 11 games. Then he broke his hand or something. Still got drafted first though.
Yeah, he's one of those players though. You could, he's like, he's up there.
Oh,
When he
Kyrie's.
wants to be, he's up there.
And people give him shit because what he says to the media, whatever. It's just frustrating because like the media asks him all these reoccurring questions night in and night out, and obviously he gets annoyed. Any human being would get annoyed of that, and it's a point where Kyrie just wants to hoop, focus on the playoffs, and whatever happens, happens. You know, if Celtics go far, they go far. If they don't, they don't. And I think it will impact his free agency decision. I think either way, I think his mind is still in New York. But I don't know. It's let's say they do go to the finals, right? Will he stay? If they get bounced in the first round or second round, will he stay? We don't know that. It all depends if Danny Ainge cash those first round picks for Anthony Davis. Will he do it? It's possible, but we don't know that. But there's a lot of executives saying that this draft is not really that deep, but we don't know. It could be some hidden gems we don't know about. But Kyrie's commitment is very questionable too. The thing with Kyrie is he has very Jersey like me and Kevin. So we're blind, we speak our mind. So when we're frustrated, we frustrated. It's nothing personal. It's just like he's a winner. He just wants to win. And this is the first time him being leader in a kind of a young team, I guess you could say. And the only veteran on the team really is Al Horford, and he does a really good job what he does too.
And he also has a player option, right?
Oh yeah, $30 million opt in.
1 year, right?
Yeah. You really think he's gonna turn that down? Hell fucking no.
That's like everybody saying, where'd he staying? Fuck that.
You really think Al Horford's gonna turn down a $30 million contract? But this is my prediction. It's just a run-on scenario. Horford opts in. Danny Ainge cashes four first round picks this year.
4.
And puts in Rozier and Brown. I don't think the New Orleans wants Tatum, dude.
Nah, bro, nah.
They want him.
Nah.
That's the reason why they turn out these Laker offers, because they want Jason Tatum.
See, this is the thing. Jason Tatum, seamless into the league. Seamless. He started a couple games, didn't start some. Then Brad Stevens was like, you know what? Fuck it, just keep starting. Then he just kept starting because he saw that he was consistent, hardworking. He started making clutch shots out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And this was all within like a season of him introducing like literally rookie.
I think personally, him working out Kobe Bryant this offseason was a little bit too soon for his career, because now like he has to split the shots with Kyrie, and now he had that big year last year where he had more shots himself, but when you have two big shot makers on your team, it's gonna come down like, oh no, I want to be the guy in the clutch, and that could be a problem down the playoffs. But I think
how the Warriors do it?
How the Warriors do it? Because Steve Kerr played under Phil Jackson and Popovich, so he knows what it takes to move the ball and give it to who. But even Steph Curry knows, like, he always gives it to Durant in the clutch. You know what I'm saying? Because Durant is fucking unguardable.
There's always that one player so Durant is like a different case because Durant's so fucking large and he's such a good shooter. So it's almost unfair. You know what I mean? It's always a mismatch.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, like, I feel if Kevin Durant leaves this Warriors team, he could lead the league in scoring every fucking year over James Harden. I think he's still the best scorer in the league, my opinion. But the best shooter is obviously Steph Curry.
Yeah.
No shit's given on that one.
Yeah.
Well, so last year, the NBA talked about having a possible 1-16 seeding, just like the NCAA. They kind of do 1-32, but for me, I think it would work better like that, because you have all these. No offense, you have these teams that are under 500 or barely 500 in the playoffs, and they get their ass kicked. Where you have these teams out west, they have better records. Come on, look at this. Sacramento is just at 500, right? 37-37. Now, for example, they would be the 7th seed, almost to the 6th seed in the East. How is that bullshit?
See, I completely agree with this new 1 to 16 seeding too, because honestly, it should be the best teams are in the playoffs. It shouldn't be no bullshit fucking teams. With all due respect, but it's just the truth. Your record is not as good as some of the teams that are in the West, and that's just the truth. You have to get the fuck out of there and get better. That it wouldn't honestly it would be better in my opinion. It would be better for the league like that because that means oh shit we need to get better. You know what I mean? Let's see who we could get. You know what I mean?
Start expanding teams, maybe.
Expanding all
Bring a team back to Seattle. They deserve a fucking team, bro. But for me, okay, I'm gonna play a scenario for you guys. So, the 2009 Cavaliers, was it 2009? Yeah, 2009. They swept the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons weren't even a 500 team. They were like what probably four more games under 500. And the Cavs had probably they were a 60 something team win. But come on, man, like that's not fair. That's just That's just a waste of 4 games. No offense. That's just a waste of 4 games. Like, if you want better ratings and revenue, do it 1 to 16. Yes, the travel might be a little hassle because the team from the East got to go to the West, but it's better for the league. You know what I'm saying? It's just better. And it's probably, I think, it'll give a better option to potentially, start something cool. Like this NBA All Stars. Before, all the best players would go to the West. Every players was leaving the East to go to the West. And now the NBA saw it and they're like, you know what? We're just gonna do it by captains now. LeBron's gonna be a captain, or Steph Curry's gonna be a captain, or the Greek Freak's gonna be captain, and it worked out better for that.
Yeah, and they just pick whoever. I mean, it was more entertaining.
Yeah, so I feel like the NBA should definitely give it a consideration, but that's probably won't happen for a while. But something to consider as well. So we're gonna talk about possible free agency scenarios. So as of right now, Kyrie, KD, Klay Thompson, DeMarcus Cousins, Kemba Walker, Kawhi Leonard, D'Angelo Russell, Kristaps Porzingis, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, Al Horford, Isaiah Thomas, and Vucevic, all free agents. But Porzingis and D'Angelo Russell
and Al Horford.
Well, the thing, Al Horford has a player option. So
yeah,
he's definitely gonna opt in.
He's gonna opt in. So we're ruling out Al Horford, but that was just a possible player free agency.
D'Angelo Russell and Porzingis are restricted, so they're gonna get matched regardless. So they're staying with their respective teams. And Kyrie and KD, I say they're gonna be a Knickerbocker.
Nah.
No, you don't think so?
Nah, I'm thinking that they're gonna stay. They're gonna stay, bro. Well, think about it like
this.
It all
depends on the playoff run.
It depends on the playoffs. So this is subject to change.
But I think it all depends if the Knicks get the first pick. If they get Zion Williamson, obviously, then I think Kyrie and KD will come for sure. And like, if you see the Zion play, like he's just like a freaking Terminator, dude.
Deadass.
And then Klay Thompson, it's between two teams. I would say with the Warriors or the Lakers, because he does. If he makes an NBA all team, like an all defensive team, which he probably should make.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck people do not vote him in for an NBA first team or second all team defensive team. It's just ridiculous. But I think he'll stay with Golden State. Him and Steph Curry, they're the best shooting backcourt of all time. Cousins, it all depends if Kevin Durant stays or leaves. I think if Durant leaves, I think he'll stay. Yeah, Cousins will definitely stay once if Durant leaves because it's more money for him. If he earned it, he'll definitely stay. But worst case scenario, I shouldn't say worst case scenario. A team like the Clippers or the Lakers, they need a center, and I think he'll definitely will go to the Clippers.
Word.
It's all about culture over there.
Yeah.
And Kemba Walker's situation is different because he's flat out balling out this year, and I just think if he makes an NBA first team, let's just hypothetically say, he will be eligible for a Supermax, and he expressed he doesn't want to leave Charlotte and everything, and how tight he is with Michael Jordan. And if Kemba Walker realized, if I'm not going to be contending for the rest of my career, at least give me the fucking Supermax,
That has.
I was just saying, money always buys happiness. I think this scenario, I think it does fit the critique with it. And then Kawhi situation,
He said that he's gonna stay.
I don't know. I want him to stay because I don't want him to go to the Clippers, and the Clippers would be better than the Lakers. So that's why I do not want him to go to the Clippers. When I want him to the Lakers, hell yeah. But I don't know. From what Stephen A. Smith is telling us, he doesn't want to share Staples Center with LeBron. He wants to have his own Staples Center team. So it all depends from there. Well, Jimmy Butler, I think he should stay in Philly. Him and Tobias Harris, they just work. That whole starting five with the Sixers, it's a cool team. No one expected this out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Shout out to Elton Brand.
Yeah.
Should be GM of the year. But I think Jimmy Butler, it all ties down to these four teams in this free agency. Obviously, Philly can give him the max because they have his birds right. It all depends. I think Knicks could offer him some money. The Nets will definitely offer him some money. The Lakers and the Clippers will offer him some money. It all depends. Let's say, for example, let's say Kawhi goes to the Clippers. I think Jimmy Butler will join him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be a nice team. Tobias, I think he'll stay. There was reports that Tobias was interested in coming and playing for the Nets because he's actually a Long Island kid.
Mm-hmm.
And Brooklyn's not that far from Long Island.
Yeah.
Or even could play for the Knicks too. But I don't think he'll be a Knickerbocker. I think he'll stay in Philly. He likes it over there. Al Horford, he's going to opt in. Who would be stupid enough to turn out $30 million?
Yeah, word. That's discounted already. So, I mean,
Isaiah Thomas situation is it depends if he actually plays in the playoffs or not. Well, if Kyrie leaves,
this is subject to change. By the way, we're predicting that he might go to the Celtics. If he doesn't play, and Kyrie leaves. But I'm saying that Kyrie's gonna stay. So this situation to me is not gonna happen. So
maybe a cool scenario.
Yeah.
And Vucevic, for me, Dallas wants like a whole international, like big three, I guess you could say. And Vucevic is European, Porzingis is European, Doncic is European. They're saying Dallas is gonna offer Vucevic some money too as well this summer. But I think for me, if the Lakers don't get Anthony Davis, I would want him. He's a pretty good double player. He's a good shooter. Very underrated. People don't talk about him because he doesn't get nationally televised, doesn't get looked at enough. But he does put up some really good numbers, performs. He does his job both ends of the floor.
Yeah, shout out all them European players that come over here underrated as fuck. You know what I mean? And then they just tear up the league because the Euro League is actually difficult. So, in closing, we're going to talk a little bit about LeBron LA situation. And I'm leaving it. We left it to the end because Chapo, my friend Chris, right in front of me, is LA fan. So, what do you feel about that? In closing,
well, I think it's justifiably unfair on his part. I could understand what every team LeBron goes to. He kind of creates like a narrative, like as a coach killer, or he leads the team. He's the coach. He trades players away. I mean, he deserves that kind of leverage because he's the best player, and you need to be utilized at your strengths, not at your weakness. And his strengths are kind of like the Greek Freak, having shooters around him.
Yeah.
And I just think LeBron, he's gonna finish his 3 or 4 years in this contract with the Lakers. I just think it's just the media trying to find something to hate on LeBron because he's not going to the playoffs this year for the first time in 13 to 14 years. So the media found any way to attack him.
It's always like this, by the way.
So he'll be a Laker. I just feel like he just needs some help. We don't know who's coming this summer, but LeBron is known to recruit some people. He tried to recruit some people when he was in Cleveland, but come on, who the hell wants to go to Cleveland? No offense.
No offense, all due respect, but don't fancy that destination.
Yeah, LA's a way bigger market, and New York is a way bigger market.
Plus, LeBron gave his all already. Like, he laid out his heart there. Yeah, so nothing to prove. So
for me, I think they'll get someone this summer, but I don't know who. If they don't get anyone, do not trade Kuzma. Do not trade Ingram. Do not trade Lonzo Ball at all costs. Get a center. For me, get Vucevic. I think he's underrated. He'll put the numbers in. For me, JaVale, he's good off the bench. I would. It's a good star backup center off the bench. For me, J.R. Smith has a player option, right? Not a player. I'm sorry, a team option. So I think they will decline his player option. I'm sorry, his team option, and I think he will join LeBron and the Lakers as a sharpshooter off the bench. And then there's a rumor that Tyronn Lue will be the coach. Or would you rather have Jason Kidd? He told his own player, "Hit me," spilled his own drink on the floor. But Jason Kidd, smart player as a coach, which is kind of a little questionable. But everyone deserves second chances in this league, just like life. But I just think he'll be fine. LeBron will be fine next season. He's got to work on his free throws. So this year was just horrendous and atrocious. But I think the Lakers will be fine next year. If everyone's healthy, they were all clicking at all cylinders. Before Christmas Day, they were the 4th seed. They had one of the best defensive teams in the league. It's just I don't think when Luke Owen takes Alonzo Ball 6 minutes into the game and doesn't put him back in 6 minutes in the second quarter. That's just you're 12 minutes on the bench. You don't have any rhythm. You know what I'm saying? And like Lonzo's arguably their best defender. So I just think they need a coach that can use everyone's strengths to the max, to the fullest. LeBron's strengths, use all Kuzma's, Ingram's, and Ball's. Because Ball, like if you watch him in UCLA, you can see why he was the 2nd overall pick. And De'Aaron Fox, we talked about last year how good
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
too.
He was really good. Yeah.
And like how he's doing this season.
Yeah,
too.
he's balling right now. That's good.
I would have taken De'Aaron Fox, but Lonzo, we have him. Yeah, I gotta defend him, but I think he'll be a special player. Now he doesn't have father to whisper in his ear anymore, or like give negative outputs about him.
Yeah,
false narratives. But I think he's joining Nike, for what I'm understanding.
Yeah.
So I think he'll be a special player. I think we're ready for takeoff next year.
All right. So thank you everyone for listening. Any final remarks, Chris?
Well, thank you for listening. We kind of went a little off topic here and there, but thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time, your efforts. Make a time out of your day to listen to us. We highly appreciate it. Don't forget to share, like, spread the word about us.
Subscribe.
Everything. Spread the word about us.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Good word. You got it.
Cheers.